Vision IB, where physics becomes clarity.
So, hello, my dear friends. In this lecture, we are going to study about quantum physics. This is module E5 for IB board. So, in this, we are going to discuss photoelectric effect and its applications. So, let's begin. So, before starting the quantum physics, let us understand what is quantum physics and why do we need to study quantum physics. So, quantum physics is a science of a tiny world where things don't behave like a solid objects. So this is the one of the most important reason why we need to study quantum physics. So in the quantum physics, the particles behave more like a wave particle probability, appearing and disappearing in strange but a predictable ways. So that is why we need to study quantum mechanics. So why do we need quantum physics? So the question comes, why do we need quantum physics? So we need quantum physics because it explains the invisible world, like we have the classical physics in which Newton's law work for cars, planet, and machines, but it fails to explain the tiny invisible world. That's why we need to study the quantum physics. So, as the classical physics failed to explain atoms, electrons, photons, and their motion, so this is the basic reason we need to study quantum physics. So what does quantum physics really explain? It explains why atoms exist and why they don't collapse inside themselves. We will also study how electrons stay in fixed energy levels, right? We will also have a scientific understanding of why, how matter itself works, right? So this is the basic thing that we're going to cover in quantum physics. So this is the first lecture. And in this first lecture, the topic that are going to be covered is photoelectric effect and the concept of threshold frequency. So we are going to basically focus on this first topic. Remaining topics will be covered in the next video. So let's begin. So we will study about photoelectric effect. So the stepping stone, the father of photoelectric effect is Heinrich Hertz. So it was experimented by Dr. Heinrich Hertz in 1857. So in this, we are going to study the photoelectric effect. So what is basically the photoelectric effect is? So in the photoelectric effect, we have one photosensitive material. And when the light is incident on this photosensitive material, there is an emission of electrons. So this is the basic study and the basic idea behind the photoelectric effect. So in this figure, in this image, you can clearly see that a light is incident on a metal plate. A light is incident on a metal plate and electrons are emitted. So this is what the photoelectric effect is. So in simple words, if we were to look at it in the simple words, so light shining on the metal surface somehow facilitate the escape of free charge particles, which we know as electrons. So this is explaining what is happening in the photoelectric effect. So in photoelectric effect, what happens when we shine the light on the metal surface or the photosensitive metal surface, it somehow there is an emission of electrons. So we are going to study about this, how these electrons are emitted and what is actually this effect. So there were a series of experiments that were carried out in order to understand the photoelectric effect. So one such experiment is being carried by Hallwich and Leonard. So in this setup, you see a vacuum tube, you see the cathode, you see the anode. So we already know that this is a cathode and this is anode. So this cathode acts as an emitter plate and this anode acts as a collector plate. So what happens whenever the light is incident on this emitter plate, whenever the light is incident on this emitter plate, it facilitated the move of electrons. So electrons were emitted whenever the light was incident on this emitter plate, and this electrons were attracted towards the cathode plate. The anode plate. And we know that as these electrons start moving from the emitter plate to the collector plate, there is a motion of electrons, and this motion of electrons is called as motion of electricity. So this is how the current starts flowing. So this is the basic idea behind the photoelectric effect. Now we have the Leonard experiment. It is the same experiment only, but their explanation is given in this. So we have this emitter plate, we have this collector plate. So in this, where you can clearly see that incident light causes electrons to move out of the metal surface, and no electron emission take place when the incident light is at frequency lesser than a particular value. This is termed as threshold frequency. This threshold frequency depends on the nature and material of the emitter plate. So what the scientists observed is, whenever the light was ultraviolet radiation or the monochromatic light was incident on the emitter plate, there was a discharge of electrons, but the electron discharge took place at certain frequency. There was a certain frequency. After that only the electrons were emitted. So if the frequency is less than the required frequency, then there was no electron emission. So this frequency was termed as threshold frequency, and this threshold frequency depends upon the nature of the material. Depends upon the nature and the material of the emitter plate. So this is what the photoelectric effect is in simple terms. So after this experiment, we can conclude that the phenomena of emission of electrons from a metal by the incident of electromagnetic radiation is called as photoelectric effect, and the emitted electrons are termed as photoelectrons. So just keep in mind these terms are very important. So the electrons that is emitted during the photoelectric emission are termed as photoelectrons, while the substance or the metal plate which emits electron when illuminated by the visible light is termed as a photosensitive material. So this was the photoelectric effect, and in its simplest form. Now we will study about the experiments in the photoelectric effect, and we will look at it in detail. So let's begin. So now we will study about the experimental study of photoelectric effect. So this is the setup to study the experimental observations of the photoelectric effect. So we have an evacuated glass tube. Evacuated glass tube. Secondly, we have a photosensitive plate that is called as emitter plate. Second, we have a metal plate that is a collector plate. Thirdly, we have a quartz window through which the monochromatic light is incident on the photosensitive plate. So it's a photoelectric experiment. So we do require a monochromatic light that is to be incident on the photosensitive plate. So this which will be incident on the photoelectric plate. And we have this other setup that includes battery, voltmeter, ammeter. However, we are not much more into this. We will study, our main topic of study will be this evacuated tube, photosensitive plate, metal plate, and a source of monochromatic light. So after the scientists started this experiment, they concluded 3 points based on this experiment. So we will discuss all these 3 points step by step. So out of all these 3 conclusions, we will study the conclusion number 1. Conclusion number 1, which states that the variation of photoelectric effect, which states the relation between the photoelectric effect with the intensity of the radiation. So here we can see that while performing the photoelectric experiment, scientists observed that the photocurrent emitted is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. So I hope you already understand what is the intensity of the light. So I'm not going to explain that basic thing. So in this, what happening in this graph, you can see that on y-axis we have a photoelectric current, and on the x-axis we have the intensity. So we have this graph. So in this graph, you can see that the photocurrent is increasing with the increase in the intensity of the light. So if we put the graph anywhere, if we put this point anywhere, we will understand that as the intensity is increasing, photoelectric current is also increasing. So this was the first conclusion. The scientists concluded that the photocurrent is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. As the intensity is increased, the photocurrent will increase. So in the first conclusion, we studied about the variation of photocurrent with the intensity of the radiation. Now, in the conclusion number 2 of the photoelectric effect current, we will study the variation of photocurrent with the potential. So, before studying the variation of photoelectric current with the potential, we need to get the understanding of what is positive potential and what is negative potential, right? So here we have two plates. One is emitter plate and other one is collector plate. So now what is happening here, this collector plate, in this, the collector plate is positive with respect to the emitter plate. So in the case of positive potential, the collector plate is positive. So what is happening here is, whenever the incident light, whenever the monochromatic incident light is incident on the photosensitive emitter plate, the electrons are emitted, right? Now, since the collector plate is positive with respect to the emitter plate, these electrons get attracted towards the collector plate, and more electrons reaches towards the collector plate. So this is termed as a positive potential. We will study this in detail in the next slides as well. For now, just understand what is positive potential and what is negative potential. So the positive potential, the collector plate is positive with respect to the emitter plate, and more electrons get attracted towards the positive plate. So this is what the positive potential is. Now let's have a look at the negative potential. So in negative potential, we have same that emitter plate, we have this collector plate. But in this case, now the collector plate is negative. The collector plate is negative with respect to the emitter plate. So now in this case, electrons are also negative and this collector plate is also negative. So what happens? These electrons, some of these electrons have very high energy. So some of these electrons do pass this barrier and moves towards the collector plate, but after certain point of time, it stops. So we will study this in detail. For just now, understand that the collector plate is negative with respect to the emitter plate in negative potential, and in the positive potential, the collector plate is positive with respect to the emitter plate. So after we understood the positive potential and the negative potential, so this next slide is to be continued. So in this, we will study the graph of photoelectric current with positive potential and the retarding potential. So we already know that in positive potential, the collector plate is positive with respect to the emitter plate, and in the negative potential, the collector plate is negative with respect to the emitter plate. So these are the two diagrams of positive potential, and this is for negative potential. Now we have to look at this graph carefully. So we have this photoelectric current which is plotted in y direction, and we have the positive potential in the x direction and the retarding potential in the negative x direction. Now if we look at the graph, we can see that the positive potential, the photoelectric current decreases with the increase in the positive potential till the current reaches the saturation point. So here we can see that, I'll just highlight it for you. So here we can see that the photoelectric current is increasing. The photoelectric current is increasing with the increase in the positive potential, but at certain point, it reaches the saturation value. Now the question comes like, if the photoelectric current is increasing with the increase in the positive potential, why it reaches the saturation value? So now just have a look at this. So in the positive potential, the collector plate is positive and the emitter plate is emitting electrons. So these electrons are negative, and of course it will be attracted towards the positively charged collector plate. So what happens after a certain amount of time, this emitter plate does not have enough electrons to transfer it to the collector plate. So from this graph, it is already clear that the value increases, the photoelectric current increases with the increase in the potential, positive potential, but after certain point, it reaches a saturation point. So this is what with the positive potential. Now look at the left side of the graph. So in this graph, we can clearly see that the photoelectric current decreases with the increase in the negative potential, and at particular point it reaches to zero value. So what is happening here? So in this, the collector plate is negative and electrons are also negative. So electrons does not have enough energy to move to the collector plate. So what happens? As the negative potential is increased, the electrons does not move to the other side of the collector plate, and that is why the current keeps on decreasing, and at a particular point it reaches a point where no current flows. And so in this, it is clearly explained that photocurrent decreases with the increase in the retarding potential or the negative potential. Just keep in mind, this retarding potential is also known as negative potential. So the photocurrent becomes zero. Now the point at which this photocurrent becomes zero is called as stopping potential. So this is the new term. So in this stopping potential, and this stopping potential is denoted by V0. So in this we can see that what is stopping potential. So it is a minimum negative retarding potential for which the photoelectric current becomes zero. This is called as stopping potential. So after we studied about the retarding potential, we got to know about the idea. We got the idea of stopping potential. We will learn about the characteristics of the stopping potential. So as earlier stated in the conclusion 1, photoelectric effect is directly proportional to the intensity of the radiation. But in case of the stopping potential does not depend upon the intensity of the radiation. Instead, stopping potential depends upon two things. First, the frequency of the incident radiation, and second, it depends upon the material of the emitter plate. So a material of the emitter plate does play important role in the stopping potential. So so this is what it is. So stopping potential does not depend upon the intensity, it depends upon the frequency of the incident radiation. So we will study why stopping potential is not dependent upon the intensity. So here we have the graph of photocurrent in y direction and stopping potential in x direction. So here we see that there are three different intensities, I3, I2 and I1. Now here I3 is greater than I2 and I2 is greater than I1. So there are three different intensities. So in this you can see that in I3 the stopping potential is same. Similarly, for the second intensity, I2, the stopping potential is same. And for the third, I1, the stopping potential is same. So from this graph, we can clearly see that stopping potential is independent of the intensity of the radiation. So this were the some of the characteristics of stopping potential. So after we studied about the conclusion 2 of the photoelectric current, now we'll study about the conclusion 3. So in this case, the photoelectric current is compared with the incident frequency of the incident radiation. So we know that the photoelectric current is dependent upon, like, it increases linearly with the increase in the intensity. So, but when we compare the photoelectric current with the frequency, we can understand that photoelectric current is independent of the frequency of the incident radiation. So it basically says that no matter, however, how much we increase the frequency of the incident light, the photoelectric current will remain same. So photoelectric current remains unaffected with the increase or decrease in the frequency of the incident light. So here we can you can see clearly in this graph that on x-axis we have photoelectric current. On y-axis we have photoelectric current, and on x-axis we have this collector plate potential. So we can see that there are three different frequencies, that is nu3, nu2, and nu1. So nu3 is greater than nu2, and nu2 and nu1 is less than nu1 is less than nu2. So in this we can see that there are three different frequencies. So what do we observe from this graph is, this is the first frequency, that is nu3. It has a same saturation current, like it does not affect with the increase and decrease in the photo current. Similarly, we have this second frequency, that is nu2. It does not affect the saturation current of the photoelectric effect. Similarly, we have third frequency, that is nu1. So in this also the saturation current remains same. So there is no spike in the saturation current. So the saturation current is same in all these three frequencies. So from this we can conclude that photoelectric current does not depend upon the frequency of the incident radiation. So based on this experiment, we concluded 3 points. First point is, the photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity. Second, the variation of photocurrent does not change with the change in frequency. It is independent of frequency. But we concluded one more important thing, that we concluded that the stopping potential is dependent upon the frequency. So this might seem a bit confusing, but this is a basic part to understand in the photoelectric effect. So now, after we understood the conclusion 3, let's start with the concept of threshold frequency. So threshold frequency is the minimum frequency of incident radiation below which the photoelectric emission does not occur. It is also named as cutoff frequency, and we can also call, so it varies with material to material. So the threshold frequency depends upon, like, we have different threshold frequency for different materials as well. And it is also known as cutoff frequency. So here we can study about the concept of threshold frequency in a simple manner. So on y-axis we have this stopping potential, and on x-axis we have this frequency. So here we can see that from the graph we can see that the photoelectric emission is not starting from the origin. It's starting from certain value, right? So from this here we can see that the minimum frequency of incident radiation below which the photoelectric emission does not occur. So here we can see this distance, this gap. So if the frequency of the incident radiation is less than the threshold frequency, the photoelectric emission won't occur. So from this graph, it is clearly understood that there is certain value for frequency of the incident radiation, after which only the photoelectric emission take place. Now we will look at we will summarize the basic points of what we studied in this photoelectric effect. So in this we studied that there are two important points just to keep in mind, and if you don't get confused, just keep these 2 points in mind and you will understand. You are just like clear to understand everything, right? So the photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity of the light. This is what we concluded from the experiment. And we also concluded that it is independent of the frequency of the light, right? So this was our first conclusion. Now the second conclusion is regarding the potential. So the stopping potential is directly proportional to the frequency. So stopping potential is directly proportional to the frequency, but it is independent of the intensity of the light. So with this, I close my chapter. So in this lecture, we have studied about the photoelectric current and its experimental observation. In next chapter, videos will be uploaded soon, and we will explore some more concept of photoelectric current, and we will study about the wave particle duality. We will study about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle that will be included further in the upcoming videos. So hope you like my videos. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.
If this helped you understand physics better, like the video